It's been a while. We got Jiggly on the horn, and we got a little some big news to drop you. But before we get to that, if you could please take a moment and consider subscribing to Spitting Fire YT, we would greatly appreciate it if today was the day that we earned your subscription. We do our best to talk Chicago Fire and soccer here, and we greatly appreciate you helping to fan those flames by either hitting the like button or subscribing, and hitting that bell icon if you want to get notified about any of our live streams. They're always a blast. Let's get this fixed up. Jiggly, how's it going there, brother?
Just finished the we just finished the Sad Boys podcast earlier today, and it's going to be up tomorrow morning. Hopefully I'll remember again to tweet the link.
I will have all that information in the description as well. Always support Jiggly over there. What's going on, man? Good to have you here.
Just sitting here struggling, working on things.
Struggling? I don't know if the Fire are struggling, but right before we get to that, Spitting Fire YT has its own Reddit page. Yes, we do. Come check it out. If you ever want to post things, just have at it. I've seen you guys posting really cool Chicago Fire images over the Chicago Fire tab. If you're worried about them getting too annoyed about it, come on over, post it over here. We'd love to have you. If you want to post your own videos or banter, designs, or memes, feel free, hop over on Spitting Fire YT, our subreddit.
I will. You know what? I'm gonna try to fill it with memes now.
We'll keep them fire related if you can.
I'm gonna make some nice fire related memes.
Well, you could start with dumping on Nelson. The Fire have announced the resignation of Nelson Rodriguez. This is courtesy of Guillermo Rivera, friend of the show, at Fire Confidential, at FireConf on Twitter. What about that news, Jiggly? Is it ding dong? The witch is dead?
It's been coming for a long time. I remember talking with some people, like when Mansueto first bought the team. I remember talking with some people, I think later that month, about who else is going and what else is happening there. And basically, what I was told by the source was that, like, Nelson's being sort of pushed into the corner. He wasn't going to be allowed to do anything, and his contract was going to run out and he was going to be gone. So I guess they decided to word it as he resigned. But I mean, they weren't going to fire him, but they also weren't going to bring him back. So he was kind of just sitting in limbo for this entire year, from what I understand. I mean, I know that Tyrus has said other things, but like he's kind of said a similar thing, but like other in a different way, similar but different. And yeah, it's just been waiting for it. I also remember right after Houtman sold the team, I got some messages from people formerly involved with the team messaging me, which no one ever does that. That was weird. But they said, like, they're really excited about Mansueto and the direction he's going to take the team, and they would love to come back as soon as Nelson was gone. So now that Nelson's gone, I'm expecting a flood. I'm expecting people to show up.
People being able to show up.
Yeah. Oh, and people being able to talk
and not have have the worry of repercussions for saying and talking about things.
I'm sure that there's a lot of people who have some things to say. I've been waiting. It is one of my dreams to collect all of the stories about the weird stuff that has happened behind the scenes during the Houtman era, and there's been no shortage of it during the Nelson era. So it's just kind of waiting for people to start talking and just seeing what happened.
Well, let's start the people talking, Jiggly, by smashing that like button. Everybody, take a moment. Greatly appreciate you helping to fan the flames of Chicago Fire soccer, and now we can start talking about it more. The Iron Curtain of Nelson has receded back to New Jersey.
There's still some people. There's still some people there, and obviously you don't want to completely just start going off on it.
Well, no, but the culture is changing.
Hopefully,
right?
Hopefully,
For a good way.
I know that there were some people who were still worried while he was there this past season, because we were talking about it. I was talking about it with some supporters group people, and how worried they were about the fact that Nelson was still there, just there, not even whether or not he has any power, just the fact that he's still there meant something. He's the guy who decided to try to destroy a supporters group. He attempted to kill Sector Latino, which, I mean, technically speaking, they're not called Sector Latino anymore, but I feel like it would be I was about to say it all goes back to the editorial, but Sector Latino is kind of the editorial for slightly newer people, and it's still as important and possibly even more important than the editorial, what happened to Sector Latino. And it would be so much reparation for that if Sector was able to call themselves Sector again, and be recognized as Sector by the club again, especially after everything Nelson did.
Let us know in the comments below if you guys think that would be a go a long way to helping maybe rebuild the Chicago Fire culture and olive branch, maybe even if you will. Let us know if that would be a big deal to you guys in the chat in the comments below. Jiggly, next bit of news. You already got the nickname pulled up. Hungry like the wolf. Fire announced that they have acquired 17-year-old Colombian forward Jhon Jader Duran. Will join the team in 2022, 3-year deal with options for two more to go. What do you think about that? I have a little scouting report we could dig into right after.
I mean, they said that he's going to be good, and they said he's the next Lukaku. What I'm more happy about is that we need height. That's the thing. The Fire has been a very short team for the past few years, and we just need warm bodies on the attack. That's something that I think that we've actually got, and we have only 2 players listed.
That seems
as
like
strikers.
a low bar, Jiggly. That's what I'm saying. That seems like a low bar.
Yeah, we only have 2 people listed as strikers. Now we have 3 with the one guy we drafted.
So Chinonso 04, Jhon Jader Duran,
but Duran's
Barrich.
not going to show up until next year, so
Right.
that's the problem.
So Chinonso 04 has a year to stake his claim to that striker position before Jhon Jader Duran arrives, and he's going to be gunning for that position. Let me dig into a little bit of this guy. So he was on a report for Next Generation 2020, 60 of the best talents in the football world.
Also, well, I mean, what was it? I think Christian Nazarit was on that list. So we the Fire previously signed Christian Nazarit, and I believe he was also on that list back in the day. So,
well, that's the thing. They're not saying it's a sure thing, but they certainly seem to think it's really, really close. If you're on this list, you're pretty close to a sure thing. I mean, it's a prospect nonetheless, and of course we know that mentality, things change, situations change, and can affect a player. I mean, coaching changes, team changes, world changes. All sorts of these things have to go right sometimes, and not necessarily all 100% right all the time, but right enough to let these guys have some success. So maybe do you think that was maybe the problem with Nazarit?
The problem with Nazarit was that we signed him so that one of the president of the club could get kickback money from South America, but we won't talk about that.
Ooh, dangerous. So we're bringing a break
As I said, I'm hoping that people start talking about the Houtman era, because I've heard rumors of weird stuff.
Of some spicy meatballs.
Yeah. But I mean, the thing with Duran is just, I like the idea of it at the very least, signing very, very young South American players that hopefully will, if we can keep him around and he's good and he'll stick around. I mean, he would get his green card in maybe 4 or 5 years. I don't know how that would work, but your guess is as good as mine in this. Or, I mean, less if you consider the fact that that Mansueto is paying for expedited green cards.
Very true.
Like Arthur Blank had been for Atlanta. So,
and maybe he's taking some classes over here during the summer, during the off season.
And then almost immediately is removed from being an international slot. So it's just, I feel like it's a good move to sign him young. I am completely fine with this team turning into Ajax.
Well, let's get into the scouting report. Age 16 and already a towering 6 foot tall, Jhon Jader has made a habit of being ahead of schedule so far in his fledgling career. A revelation in youth football after the Medellin-born left footer was converted from winger to striker under the under-15s coach Wilberth Pereira. Perea. Duran went on to play for the Colombia under-17s while still 15, before being promoted to the under-20s national team that is currently preparing for the South American Youth Championships on home soil in 2021. In 2019, he became the second youngest goal scorer in Colombian top flight history at the tender age of 15 years and 263 days, with a goal after 9 minutes. Strong, versatile, and with a devilish burst of pace, he emerged from the same famed Envigado academy as James Rodriguez and Juan Fernando Quintero, then aged 11. Nephew to an ex-player who is now a football manager, Duran's development has since been in good hands, with several observers comparing his robust style to that of Romelu Lukaku. Both are similar players, but for me, Duran could develop to be even more complete. Coach Pereira explains, at the age of 15, he's already broken all of the limits. He has the strong character to always try risks, to be a bit like Tino Asparilla would do. That's for courtesy of Carl Warswick on this TheGuardian.com. Link will be in the description. What do you think about that, Jiggly, though? Does that get you a little bit more hyped?
I mean, I read it. I'm fine with it. The thing is, it's just like when you're signing somebody this young, and I mean, yeah, we can say that he's on this list, but he still is unknown. Just because he came from Envigado Academy, this was something that obviously I tried to be the hype man on Sad Boys because the other two weren't as into it. But I guess since you're into it, I'll bring in their concerns from there, which is just the idea that like anybody can be in an academy. It's just about where you live. So saying he came from the same academy as James Rodriguez and Quintero, it's just he lives there, I guess.
It might have something to do with they might have some good coaches there though too, and also think about this: they might have benefited from the sales of those types of players to be able to recruit and spend more money on better coaches.
I mean, that is true. It's just there's not much known about it.
Well, and beyond that, if we're talking about his coaches there, what about his coaches on the soon-to-be Chicago Fire with Rafa Wicki and Frank Klopas and company? I wonder how they'll hold up and compare, in his mind, to those of that Colombian academy.
Well, I mean, I just want to say, in talking about academy coaches, speaking of academies, Nelson Rodriguez and coaching, do we still have that one guy that we signed from PSG? That one academy director that it was this big major thing that the Fire got this guy.
I thought that was Georg Ajax guy that I thought they were talking about.
No, it was.
If you know anything about that, put your comments below. If you know what Jiggly's talking about.
It was years ago that we got this guy who was the academy director at PSG, and nobody knew anything about him. Like, in terms of.
Well, what about it? Are you asking where he is?
Nobody's heard. Yeah, where is he?
I have no idea.
Because I haven't heard anything about him.
Let's figure out his name.
No longer being.
Sounds sus.
It's
blue.
Jiggly,
let's move on here because I gotta admit something. I was wrong. Kyle Sheldon, awesome little follow on Chicago. He's the SVP of marketing for Chicago Fire. I was under the impression, based upon, just in my opinion of reading the tea leaves. By the way, I'm wrong. I was totally wrong. Sometimes I'm right about these things. I was wrong here. But I was predicting a name change to go along with this oncoming Crest change. And oh boy, am I wrong. Kyle Sheldon say, I can help here. The name isn't changing. So awesome. Happy to be wrong there, Kyle. That is very interesting. So, and also, I don't know if you read the release, Jiggly, about the Crest. They're trying to collaborate with Chicago. I have the links in the description if you guys want to check it out and put in your 2 cents. But what do you think about theirs? This seems to be some sort of maybe a more community-led initiative to fix this Crest. And maybe Peter Wilt would be proud.
Well, yeah, it's I did my article about it. I don't know if I plugged that one here.
Plug
it. But on MLS Multiplex, I did an article on I did a quick interview with Peter Wilt because I've always asked him
Yes.
for quick interviews. But
Peter's great.
but I mean, the thing is that okay, my brain stopped because I looked over at the Twitter side of my screen.
So days checking in. Cedric Cantanoy is who we were talking about. Cedric.
Yes, Cedric Cantanoy.
Cedric
Yeah,
is the
that
Academy
guy-
Technical Director for the Fire. Thank you, Slow Days, for checking in. Awesome to see you here.
Yeah, that guy. I don't think anybody's heard from him since he was signed.
Well, he's the Academy Technical Director, so he's trying to amass talent.
I mean, none of I remember. I mean, obviously, I haven't been in contact with anybody within the academy for years. But when I was in contact with people from with a kid in the academy, nobody had ever seen him. Nobody had ever met him. That was still around the time that like Pineda was in the academy, though.
Right.
So,
well, back to the Crest.
But yeah, I don't know why you would think that the Fire were going to change their name, especially since they're changing the logo specifically because of the fan outrage, and the fan outrage of the rebrand in general was the idea that none of us wanted the name to change. And I know that from reports, the name change was something that Mansueto had to fight extremely hard to keep. Basically, Nelson Rodriguez and Houtman had sort of set the wheels in motion for getting a rebrand done, and Nelson and Houtman didn't care what anybody thought. They were just going to do it and hope that like any dissenting opinion just leaves, and just hope that nobody notices at that point. But Mansueto came in, he bought the team, and he had to fight tooth and nail trying to keep this rebrand from happening and try to lessen it as much as you can. But unfortunately, the Crest, they sent it out to Adidas already. It was going to happen. So
this is crazy to learn about for Mansueto, like basically what he was purchasing into. We learned a lot from the Tyrus podcast a couple episodes back. If you guys want to take a look back in our video records, but that was a great podcast with Tyrus and Men in Red, and where he was talking about all that and how Mansueto walked into this where they're changing that stuff, and also they won't let him even bring his own guys and fire Nelson Rodriguez, and so he could bring in Lagerwey.
Yeah, it's just that whole thing of I have a different thing. If we're going to talk about Lagerwey, I have a different idea for GM.
By the way, DJ H checking in the chat. Awesome to see it. What have you missed? We've talked a little bit about Duran and a little bit about Nelson's resignation, and right now we're talking about the Crest, and we're getting close to wrap up here.
Yeah, with the Crest, it's just the idea of it with. The reason why they're with the way that they're doing it and everything, I think everyone wants to go back to the original Crest, but I think I explained it in my article that any team that does a rebrand and then has to do a quick change, if you play a single season in it, you have to change it. Even if you're changing back, you have to change it in some way. So we're not going to get the old Crest back, but we should get like Florian Cross back, something close to it. And no Fire Crown. That's the important thing.
Well, Jiggly, you know who we're not going to get back anytime soon? Chris Armas, who's the new head coach of Toronto FC.
Armas is a nice guy. Is he? I guess if Armas was fired from Red Bulls, was CJ fired from the Red Bulls?
I believe he was.
I want CJ back.
Well, maybe he's able to come back.
CJ and Sega are like the two former Fire coaches that like are kind of available that would be good to come back.
Here's the thing, the problem for Wiki. Now, as a fan, yeah, it's easy for us to be like, yeah, bring that in. Now you got when I think about Wiki and power play, power struggles, coaching, assistants. If he has too many guys there that are all on the same side, and he's on the other side, that might be a little too combative of a technical room, that he might want to not manage. CJ was fired. DJH confirming. Thank you, DJH. So I don't know what you think about that, though.
Yeah, I get it, but at the same time, I still just want CJ back.
I could see Wiki being threatened by like a CJ Brown, Frank Klopas coaching team, and the type of power that they might be able to wield even behind his back
in the booth. Put Klopas back in the booth instead of Tony Meal. Bring in CJ. there.
Speaking of in the booth, we do hear that isn't what's his face from NBC Arlo White going to be coming over soon?
Yeah. Well, I mean that was the thing with the original deal was to have Arlo White do some games, but just the way that everything panned out, he wasn't able to. So hopefully, hopefully things are better this coming season. We talk about it in this coming episode of Sad Boys, but like the 2021 season for the Fire is just going to be like the Twilight Zone. Just nothing matters, but like it's important that nothing matters. Weird.
I want to believe that next 2021 will be better than 2020, but
It
it's a
can be
young team.
better. It can be worse. Who knows? It's this weird middle year for a lot of things that are happening.
Slow Days confirming also believe that CJ was fired. See DJ saying I'd like to see them return in the MLS reserves or a USL squad. Honestly,
Oh yeah, CJ or Sega coaching the Fires too. I think that would be a good idea.
Slow Days saying I gotta say that I miss Dan Kelly. Didn't like the combo this much this year. And you want to know what? I want to hear everybody's comments below what you guys think of this announcing team of Tony Miola and Tyler Terrence. Were you guys impressed? Do you guys miss Klopas and Frank Kelly? Let us know in the comments below. I'm certainly interested
Frank
to hear.
Kelly?
What was
Frank
it?
Kelly?
Dan Kelly. Frank Klopas and Dan Kelly. Thank you for correcting.
I really liked talking to Dan Kelly because he was helping me try to find women's hockey games to watch.
Let's see.
He did some play by play for college women's hockey. So
I thought his dad was a hockey guy too.
well, yeah, his dad's in the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Right. Dwayne Rollins hopped on our show. Awesome. It was awesome to have him. And he's the host of Soccer Today. But he was tweeting about the new Club de Foot Montreal. He talked a little bit about that on the show with us. About that stuff. And if you take a look at it, it looks like a little cat butt.
Yep.
The less rude interpretation is it
the-
looks like a snowflake. It would be a great logo for a Winter Olympics bid, but it's not a great soccer logo. That's Dwayne Rollins' opinion there.
I mean, I think I already said I've said this before about the lantern logo that it'd make a great tattoo. It's not a soccer logo. It's a nice design, not a logo.
DJ checking in saying I didn't mind them. Didn't get a chance to watch them as much as I wanted to, but they were decent enough. Klopas and Kelly, is a great one though. Slow Day saying I miss Egan and Kelly. That was great. Miola and Tyler didn't have the heart and honestly didn't know the players.
I miss Evan Whitfield.
That's a reach. It's a long. Dwayne Rollins also saying circle March 27th on your calendar in pencil for now, but circle it. Patrick McCraney also saying preseason starts February 22nd if there's a CBA in place. So we'll remain seeing. Also, I thought this was a little bit of interesting news, Jiggly. ESPN tried to acquire or is trying to acquire the La Liga rights for the U.S. market. That'd certainly enhance ESPN Plus if any of those games end up there, which is a great deal already.
Yeah.
And Jiggly, okay, I got something that is maybe the last hot button topic. DJ H saying having a former player would be great. From Sam Stexel, we had an awesome show with him way back, was it last year or 2 years ago? The best kind of MLS transaction just hit the wire. A trade of discovery rights. Nashville announced that it sent the discovery rights of Dacer Caicedo to Vancouver in exchange for $75K in GAMP because God forbid two teams ever compete with each other on the international market.
It's dumb and I love it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the archaic MLS rules where you have to bring out the big old tome. I tried to spend one summer to learn all of the MLS rules and like try to format them down, and I couldn't even find all the rules. Like there are some rules that only the executives know, and that's the reason why they kept Nelson around technically, because he knew all the rules, and so they have him in his corners like, hey, can we do this? I don't think you can. Oh, okay. It's just that's fun. That's fun to me. That's it's stupid and it's fun.
And on top of that, I have this Paul Tenorio tweet, also a great. We had him on the show as well. Great podcast in our Hall of Fame, in our Hall of Fame playlist. If you want to check that out, I see this and I think AS Roma can set up an academy in New York and scout for talent, but Sporting Kansas City can't, Portland can't, Seattle can't, Real Salt Lake can't, Philadelphia can't. A look at the debate on homegrown territory here. He's got his link on his article from The Athletic, but I thought that was an interesting little comment. You know, the idea that the Real Madrids, the Atletico Madrids, and the AS Romas could come in and start up these academies and, you know.
Oh, I think his comment is more about is more about the idea that teams in MLS can't scout the entirety of America. They have to stick to their own.
Right. Yes, and how unfair that is.
Region.
And how unfair that is. Or is it fair?
That's the thing. For some reason, almost all of our best athletes in America come from like Texas or the South. All of the best athletes in America in almost every sport come from the South. I like you look into it. I've noticed this from like just.
I don't know. That could be what's the word? Anecdotal. So we need some stats.
It is definitely anecdotal, but like you look at it with like, you know, where all the
ace card. Say, what are you goons talking about?
The best high school football teams, you know, are almost all in like Texas and like Mississippi, that sort of thing. So it's like I don't know. It's just weird that a lot of them are just from the South. You don't get that many from like the Midwest. You know, so that the idea of like the fact that FC Dallas is getting all of this talent because they're just in the right exact area for all of these players to be sprouting up.
That's a good point. FC Dallas has been farming out the talent. DJ H saying that I think the South tends to produce more players because they're a lot more focused on it down there.
Yeah.
Maybe it's that college football type of
the
town
college football
atmosphere.
Yeah, the college football culture down there.
And it trickles on down to high school, so Friday night lights become just as important as Saturday night lights.
Yeah, and it also just permeates throughout the rest of the sports in the area.
Yeah, and the importance of it.
Before we end, who do you want as the next president of operations for the Chicago Fire? Because I have an answer that nobody else says.
President. Now, this is somebody with
to take Nelson Rodriguez's role.
So you need somebody with a little bit of a business acumen, right? You don't need somebody who's necessarily. It could be a former player who's maybe gotten some business practice, Carlos Bocanegra type.
Actually, if we're talking about former players, I would also put in Diego Gutierrez.
Well, I'll start with Carlos Bocanegra.
Well, I mean, I thought you were going to say what everyone else is saying with Garth Lagerway.
Oh, that'd be
everyone wanting Garth Lagerway.
Here's the thing about what I know,
president.
But I can't do that because I know something about Garth Lagerway. He wants a president and GM job. He wants double duties, and if he wants the GM job, that would mean that Heights has to go. Heights ain't going anywhere right now.
So
Garth Lagerway is the great choice. I agree, Sammy Garcia.
My other three ideas, one of them I actually just got from my dad when I was talking to him about it during dinner. But one of them is, I guess, Diego Gutierrez, if we want a former player. I think Diego Gutierrez would be a great idea. Alyssa LaHue. Now, everybody wants Peter Wilt back. He's not coming back. And I don't think it's right to ask Peter Wilt to come back to a project that he has moved on from. He's going to stick around. Obviously, he loves the team. He loves the fans. We love him. But I don't think it's right to bring him back to the team. What can we do is we bring in one of his disciples, Alyssa LaHue, who he trained at the Chicago Red Stars.
Oh, he talked about her on our podcast.
Alyssa LaHue is one of the best people in American soccer.
Wow, he talked. He mentioned her on our podcast now that I remember, and he was.
Yeah, she's doing it. She's done an amazing job.
Check out that show. That's in our Hall of Fame as well. DJ saying Arne Friedrich should be considered. Or Carlos Bocanegra, but and then Slode saying I think that either Mansueto steps in or they restructure to Heights taking a double role. We have a technical and sporting directors already, so we are missing the idea of Heights maybe taking over the role of president. But that would be a lot of duty for a guy who's still learning MLS rules and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, get this, where Nelson had the benefit of already knowing quite a bit of stuff about all that stuff, having,
Alyssa
cut his
Hugh,
teeth at, what was it, over in California with Guadalajara, right? Chivas Guadalajara.
and with the 2001 worst team of
Chivas
all
USA,
time,
not Chivas Guadalajara.
and also with the 2001 worst team of all time, New York, New Jersey Metro Stars.
Yep.
But
So that makes me think that, Heights is not a candidate
but if we're talking
for double
about
duty.
but if we're talking about a team that needs to be turned around and actually like reconnect with its fans, Alyssa Hugh did that with Sky Blue FC. Sky Blue FC was like
they were in tatters.
They were working out of trailers.
The players hated playing for them.
Yeah, there were players who were drafted by Sky Blue FC who would immediately ask to be traded away. Alyssa Hugh changed that culture entirely. And she has developed them into a team that can go on to be a force. They have a good team in New Jersey now. And you know what? I don't think it's likely that she's going to be coming to the Fire. I don't think it's likely that the Fire will even ask about her. But I want to speak this into existence.
Jiggly.
I want to keep running this
Jiggly,
rumor
this is a great.
until it happens.
This is absolute Jiggly. That's actually a great call. This should be trumpeted. I need to spell her name. I want to pull her. I want you to spell her name. By the way, Slow Day saying knowing all that stuff did not help Nelson be successful. Nevertheless, having all of that prior experience. What's her name? How do I spell this?
I just put it into chat. But like the thing is that I think that
How do I
she
see
wants
chat?
to. Oh,
Is it Twitter or something? Or I can't.
it's I put it in the YouTube chat.
Okay,
for
cool,
us.
cool.
So it's gonna pop up.
Boom.
There we go.
There it is. Thank you.
But I think she's gonna stick with women's soccer for a while and especially sticking with Sky Blue FC because that is a long-term project. And I think she wants to make sure that it is set for a while.
This is Alyssa Hugh, a Peter Wilt disciple, and general manager of the Sky Blue. Dude, Jiggly, I actually think that is a fantastic shout.
It would be an amazing.
We're definitely gonna clip this one, and we'll have just a little. Let's have a little Alyssa Hugh news point.
She would be an amazing hire, but it's very, very, very unlikely.
Just think about think about the kudos that Chicago Fire would get for making such an awesome hire. It would bring eyes and attention, and the type of attention probably that they want in Chicago. Dude, well, I mean, Alyssa Hugh would be a slam dunk decision, I think, on a business end. And if you that Jiggly, you solved the problem.
I mean, there was
Philip Tucker saying you guys are awesome. Go Fire! Great, they greatly appreciate the support there, Philip Tucker. Thank you guys, everybody. If you guys always take a moment to smash that like button, also helps to greatly fan the Flames Chicago Fire Soccer. Fans the Flames of YouTube gets this word out into everybody. Also, if you take a moment to consider subscribing to us, Spitting Fire YT, greatly awesome if we earned your subscription. We greatly appreciate it. Hit the bell icon if you'd like to get notified about our live talks like this. They're pretty impromptu, so I usually announce maybe 15, 20 minutes, but if you hit that bell icon, you'll get the notification real quickly that when we're live.
I think that's the reason why I really wanted it to happen is because she did the same exact thing with Sky Blue, and they are a much better team, and it's not even just about on the field, because as president, I don't think that it's going to have as much of a sporting role as just general GM is, but the way that she connects with fans is the exact same way that Peter Wilt approached it, the same way that he learned from watching Bill Veeck.
And there's a quality of character there that you just can't. Where else can you get that?
The big thing was like what with one of the first tailgates that Sky Blue FC had, that Cloud9 had. She decided, okay, I'm just gonna bring a cooler to them. Nelson never did that.
Alyssa Hughes, the general manager of Sky Blue, widely credited with turning around a club that had fallen out of favor. That's awesome. A lot of women's sports are marketed towards younger kids, but you make a point of trying to bring millennials and adults. Oh, wow, that's the Chicago Fire's the desired audience. By the way, DJ saying, honestly, it wouldn't be shocking if a former player actually does end up as president.
So
probably someone with other MLS experience.
So here's the other idea for presidents, that the one that my dad actually mentioned to me, which is, so presidents it honestly is not about the soccer side. It's about, the fan experience, communicating with the fans and just running the day-to-day operations of a soccer team, not about what happens on the field. So this person has nothing to do with the soccer side of anything, and it would not be a new hiring, it would be a promotion. Mike Ernst,
Yeah, I do know Mike Ernst.
honestly, if I think that he has ingratiated himself within the culture of the Fire and to the
He's
fans.
synonymous with Chicago Fire. When I typed in Mike Ernst,
Yeah.
it typed Chicago Fire for me. Maybe it's
Yeah,
because I've typed in the past.
I mean, I forgot what exactly he's vice president of right now.
Senior
for
Vice
the
President
team.
of Sales and Revenue.
I think that
I thought he left the
the
team.
way that no, Ernst is still around. At least I'm pretty sure he's still around. But I think that if you're just talking about from a business perspective, I think that Mike Ernst has earned this in a way that he has. I mean, what we're talking about the Fire's JD Power Award, that sort of thing. Like the fact that the Fire was such a horrible team, but was still able to get all those awards for like fan experience, and that's from his side.
That's a good point, right? And here he is.
So,
Yep, Benihana Addict and Marathoners, the Chicago Fire, St. Ambrose, and University of Iowa alum. Opinions are my own.
So I mean, it's just the idea that hey, maybe we can have him as the next president.
Promotion.
If we're just talking about business side. Yeah,
and that also improves morale from within. That maybe
and outside the and from the fans, because the fans like him.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. That's kind of what you want to go with here, because
you gave us great options.
You can either go with someone who is really, really good at what they do. The fans may not know them very well, but they're good at what they do, and you have to try to convince them. Or you bring in somebody that will instantly give you credibility with the fans. And I think that after Heights and Vicky, with those signings from Mansueto originally, I think that they kind of got a mixed reception. So I think that if he's going to sign another president, because technically speaking, the last president that the Fire had before Nelson Rodriguez was Peter Wilt, because that position technically didn't exist. It was either GM or, it was by some other name. So I think Mike Ernst or Alyssa Hugh would be great ideas in terms of just like really outsider, just like, hey, why not consider these people? But in terms of like former player, I think Diego Gutierrez would be a viable option in terms of former player. I don't think Carlos Bocanegra is going to be leaving Atlanta anytime soon.
The previous president was Julian Posada.
That's what I said. But that's what I told my dad when he asked me that.
Peter Wilt was president of 2001 to 2005 was Peter Wilt.
But technically speaking, it's
Peter Wilt got the job.
By different name.
The president.
It was like they gave different names.
Right. Peter Wilt was already GM in '97, and then he got the second job of club president in 2001, and he left both jobs at the end of 2005.
Then it was John Guppy.
Slow Day saying John Guppy, Javier Leon, Dave Greeley, Javier Leon, interim again, and Julian Posada before Nelson Rodriguez for the last 3 years, 2018 to 21. Soday saying Mike is still there and would be a great promotion to a guy who runs a great crew with the sales reps.
Yeah, that's been one of the shining parts of the team. Like I feel like if you want to reward somebody who has done the most good for this team during the worst years of this club's existence, the best part of it has been its sales team, has been the side that he's been working on. And he is loved by the fans. Honestly, in terms of, I think Mansueto should be telling Ernst, it's your job to have if you think that you can handle being president of the club. In terms of just, if it's just business sided stuff, I think he's got it.
Well, I think you gave us two great candidates there, Jiggly. One in-house and one out-of-house. In-house looks like the real Mike Ernst would be a great Chicago Fire promotion from inside. And the outside hire, Elise LaHue, bringing in a very positive influx of culture and also proof of product over in New York for Sky Blue FC. Also a Peter Wilt disciple, so maybe even some indirect connections to the Chicago Fire already. So that would be awesome as well. I just feel like the optics would be great. The optics would be great on both of these hires. But I'll tell you this: I think that from a marketing thing, as far as something to market towards fans, Alyssa LaHue is something that could actually, maybe raise a few eyebrows based on the headlines, and maybe people just catch people's eye in that regard. I don't know if you disagree or agree.
LaHue started out her career in sports in the trailer out back behind Toyota Park, the official Chicago Red Stars world headquarters. back in 2006.
Well, there you go. So the connections are there.
Yeah, so she has paid her dues, and I feel like as I keep saying, I don't know if she'd take this job because I feel like she'd have more to give Sky Blue FC, even though she's given them a lot. She has set them up for success. And also,
I'm going to say this. I wonder if Sky Blue FC has maybe topped out as far as they can go, and maybe they could take the Chicago Fire. Right now, look at this. Chicago Fire is a sleeping giant. Within the right hands, Chicago Fire is a sleeping giant. And what if she thinks that she's the right hands to take that egg and get it out of Hagrid's house, and boom, you got yourself a Hungarian horntail here in Soldier Field. I am all about that.
I mean, I think the other issue would be she'd be somebody who also would want to be on the soccer side too, because if you look at the way that the team has been,
her involvement, right?
Yeah. I mean, you just look at the recent draft.
Well, that's a great thing. Maybe she starts trying to form a relationship with Gayer Heights and Wiki and
true. I think yeah. If you really want to do it that way, you can combine her own knowledge. I mean, the NWSL isn't. It is a different breed than MLS, but it isn't that different. She'd only have a few more rules to learn and figure out. I think that it's very close to each other. And if she can handle the MLS side of things for Heights when he needs help with that, and she handles the off the field stuff, which is something that we greatly need. We just need some sort of good presence on off the field stuff, especially after all the damage that's been done by Nelson Rodriguez. Just somebody who can come in and say, yes, the club itself is sorry about what happened, and we are going to work to fix it. We're going to work together to make something better. Well, Alyssa LaHue would be great, and I'm pretty sure they probably haven't thought about her at all, and I want them to think about her. And since apparently we know that Kyle Sheldon pays attention to James here, Cal Sheldon, please tell somebody to talk to Alyssa LaHue. Just talk to her.
Yes, it's a great idea. Well, that brings us round to a full circle. The Chicago Fire announcing the resignation of Nelson Rodriguez. So, I mean, that really puts the cap in our hat right there, Jiggly. I think that is about it for the show. Do you have anything left to, thoughts? Anything you want to tell the folks here? Everybody in the chat, greatly appreciate you joining us.
We got a Sad Boys episode coming out tomorrow where I don't talk as much about Alyssa LaHue, but I still talk about Alyssa LaHue.
Heck yeah!
I came onto this live stream with the specific intent to talk about Alyssa LaHue.
That's hilarious. I'm glad you did, dude. I think that was a great shout. Honestly, I mean, that's a whole video to itself. Maybe I'll chop it up and figure that kind of stuff out. But everybody, Jiggly, thanks for hopping on last second. Everybody, appreciate you guys liking, supporting, retweeting this on all the various platforms out there. And we are on Spotify, Google Play, iTunes podcast. If you can't catch us live on YouTube, greatly appreciate it. If today was the day we earned your subscription, smash that like button so more Chicago Fire fans can hit this on the algorithm. Put your comments below of anything if you had felt the need to interject about anything we were talking about, or if you wanted to answer our questions. We'd love to read them. Love to hear from you. Greatly appreciate you guys watching the show live or after the fact. And I think that's about it from us here at Spitting Fire YT. Have a great one. We will catch you next time, everybody. Thank you, Jiggly.
I always like being here. It gives me something to do.
Chicago Fire is an awesome thing that unites the community. Awesome to be here with you guys here, everybody. We'll catch you guys later on Spitting Fire YT.